Good evening, everyone. It's my great pleasure to welcome the members of Metropolitan Community College Board of Trustees, members of our MCC Foundation Board, our faculty, staff, and administrators, the families and friends of these amazing graduates here joining us virtually and in person with the class of 2021 and the class of 2020. We're so happy to have you here with us tonight at Metropolitan Community College's 2021 commencement ceremony, here in the great outdoors at the beautiful and historic Starlight Theater. Isn't this an amazing venue? I'm Dr. Kimberly Beatty, Chancellor of Metropolitan Community College, and I am thrilled to be here with all of you to share in the celebration of this happy occasion. Seems to me we're overdue, way overdue for a happy occasion. What do you think? Commencement happens to be my favorite time of the year, and looking out at all of you here tonight, it just solidifies for me that this is the best part of my job. So now, I am going to ask everyone to rise for the presentation of colors by the Missouri State Highway Patrol, Troop A, Honor Guard. Then please remain standing for the national anthem performed by MCC's own Mildred Nottingham.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, came through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may be seated. Thank you, Ms. Nottingham, for that lovely, outstanding, amazing rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner. Let's give her another hand. Tonight's ceremony brings together Metropolitan Community College graduates from both this year and last who have completed their studies through the MCC online or at one of our local campuses, the Blue River, Business and Technology, Longview, Maple Woods, including our site in St. Joseph, and the Penn Valley campuses. People who know me, they know that I like data. So here's a little bit of data about the MCC class of 2021. 2,092 students are members of this year's graduating class. Collectively, they have earned nearly 2,500 associate degrees and certificates. Can you guess how many are 20 or younger? More than 1/3, 37%. Even more, 42% are between 21 and 29 years old. 13% of the grads are in their 30s. And last but definitely not least, 8% of this year's class are 40 or older. That's 174 people who are proof that it is never too late to earn that college degree or workforce credential. So here's my next question for you. Any guess on the percentage of male and female graduates? Well, in keeping pace with the national trend, 61% of the MCC class are female, 39% are male. Now, we know there are a lot of brainiacs among us here tonight. Many of our graduates have distinguished themselves academically. You can see these categories on page 9 of your commencement program. There are two groups, however, I want to recognize right now. 20% of the class of 2021, that's 420 students, are graduating tonight with honors, which means they earned a GPA of between 3.5 and 3.8. Would these students please stand to be recognized? Thank you. You may be seated. 6% of this class, that translates to 127 individuals who are graduating tonight with high honors. High honors indeed. That means they earned a GPA between 3.9 and 4.0. Would these students please stand to be recognized? Thank you. You may be seated. And since we're in a clapping mood, there's another group that is close to my heart. Since I've been at MCC, we've launched a scholarship through the MCC Foundation. This scholarship is presented every year to student military veterans. Reggie Helms was my father, a proud Army veteran who served in Vietnam. We have at least 112 students among tonight's graduates who are veterans. Would they and all veterans and active military with us tonight please stand to be recognized? We thank you for your service. Since 1915, Metropolitan Community College has provided a high-quality education to hundreds and thousands of people in greater Kansas City area. Graduates, you are joining the ranks of alumni who have changed the face of our city. From Mr. Ewing Kauffman, who built a major company and gave us Kansas City Royals, and folks who serve in the community every day, like former Kansas City Mayor Charles Wheeler and Sly James, Jackson County Executive Mr. Frank White, and countless of others at MCC just like you, and went on to achieve great things, just like you. Now I'd like to recognize our college's governance group leaders. Please rise as I call your name and remain standing. First, the President of the MCC Faculty Senate, Dr. Kim Wilcox. The President of the MCC District Staff Council, Mr. Ryan Moorhead. And the President of the Administrators Association, Dr. Deanna Snyder. Thank you so much for your leadership and your service. Metropolitan Community College is a large, complex system, and it is my privilege to serve alongside an incomparable group of leaders who are dedicated to the mission of this college and serve as your senior leadership team. Please rise as I call your name and remain standing. Dr. John Chawana, Vice Chancellor of Institutional Effectiveness, Research, and Technology. Dr. Donald Cushell, Vice Chancellor of Administrative Services and Chief Financial Officer. Ms. Sandra Garcia, Chief Legal Officer. Ms. Susan Gotchis, Vice Chancellor of Instruction and Chief Academic Officer. Dr. Dan Hakoy, President of MCC Longview and Vice Chancellor of Strategic Initiatives. Dr. Tyon Lee, President of MCC Penn Valley. Dr. Thomas Meyer, President of MCC Blue River and Business and Technology Campuses. Dr. Larry Rideau, Jr., President of Maplewoods. And Dr. Catherine Swanson, Vice Chancellor of Student Success and Engagement. My many thanks to your partnership and leadership to serve this college. Thank you for your service. I also want to extend my deepest appreciation and gratitude to all of our faculty and staff who are here, whether you're here with us or not, our faculty, staff, and administrators. Over this last year, in particular, they went above and beyond to support our students and help to keep them on a path for fulfilling their educational goals. This year has served many challenges, but we at MCC, we were able to stand, pivot, and make sure that our students were still served. Would all of my MCC colleagues please stand tonight and be recognized? Let's give them a real big hand. We also have some special guests with us tonight I'd like to acknowledge and thank. Please rise to be recognized as your name is called. Representing the Kansas City Public School District is Assistant Superintendent Dr. Michelle Fitzgerald. I think there she is. Dr. Fitzgerald, thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate and recognize the graduates of the Kansas City Public Schools Early College Academy at Penn Valley. Thank you so much. Representing the MCC Foundation Board of Directors, Board Chair Matt Johnson, and MCC Foundation Board Member Rafael Garcia are with us on the platform, and Brett Bungie, Jean Sands, and Mary Hunkler, who are seated in the audience. If you'd please stand. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and your dedication to the foundation that many of you have benefited from. Thank you so much. The foundation is the arm of this institution that fights mightily for scholarship dollars for our students. Many of you have benefited from those dollars and the foundation's hard work. Let's give these current and former board members another big round of applause. It is now my honor to introduce my boss, or one of my bosses, Mr. Trent Skaggs, who is president of the MCC Board of Trustees.
Forgot I can take this off. Good evening and greetings from the MCC Board of Trustees. We are a 6-member board, and it is my great pleasure to introduce my fellow board members. Please stand and remain standing as I announce your names. Trustee and Board Vice Chairman Michael Brown. Trustee Ellen Martin. Trustee Holmes Osborne. And Trustee Jermaine Reed. Trustee Barbara Washington is unable to be with us tonight because of her duties in Jefferson City as a state senator. But can we give this board a round of applause for their help and dedication? Thank you. And tonight is all about the graduates, but it's also an excellent opportunity to express our appreciation to some of the folks who helped our graduates get across the finish line. That list includes our exceptional MCC faculty, administrators, and staff who work hard, often behind the scenes, to help students succeed. These people are very important people who have had a hand in your success. I think this is also a perfect time to thank our graduate support networks, their families, their parents, their friends, their grandparents, who in ways both big and small have contributed to the students' success. Graduates, let's give these very important people in your lives a big hand and show our appreciation. MCC graduates, the Board of Trustees salute you, and congratulations from all of us.
Thank you, trustees, for your support of our students and your dedication and commitment to MCC. Next, I'd like to welcome our student commencement speaker. This year's student speaker comes from the Blue River campus. The thing about Chance is that there's no chance or by chance that he's here. The thing about Chance is that he's endearing, and his path in today's graduation was neither smooth or direct. There were a couple of detours along the way, and I think many of us can relate to that. Chance found inspiration in his life's calling by taking classes with MCC history faculty Patrick Kirkwood. And now, guess what? Chance is planning to become a history teacher. Actually, Dr. Kirkwood is the person who suggested Chance as our student speaker. Here's an exact quote from Dr. Kirkwood. "I was confident Chance would have something to say and that a wider audience would benefit from hearing him say it. Please welcome our 2021 student speaker, Mr. Chance Walker."
Thank you, Dr. Betty. Good evening, fellow graduates. I'm Chance Walker. When I was 18 and starting my first year of college, I was a bad student. I never did any homework or studied for any tests. Naturally, because of this, I failed all my classes. The university I was attending was like, get him out of here. Rather than getting back on the ball and learning from my mistakes by attempting college again, I thought, well, college just isn't for me, and I decided to get a job. So I took a gap year, then another, then another, then another. All the while, the world had passed me by. 4 years, I was finding myself, but in reality, I'd given up on bettering myself. Complacency and fear of failure plagued my mind. On top of that, I was truly a pitiful, prideful person, which didn't help. Never asking for help, never trying anything new out of fear of failing, never putting in an effort. Well, that's a recipe for success, right? Pride is a lie that blinds us from reality and prevents us from moving forward. We don't live in this world alone, and no one goes their entire life without ever failing. There's no shame in asking for help. Therefore, it's imperative to do anything and everything without fear of failing, especially when failure is often the first step of success. The great American industrialist, Henry Ford, famously said, "If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." It's okay to ask for help. Being afraid is natural, But what you must do to conquer this fear is steady yourself and just do it. Otherwise, you'll stop progressing and become complacent. Now, I don't know what took me so long to understand something this basic, and I can't point to any one thing and say, that's where my life turned around. I'm truly blessed to have the love and support of my family while I was off trying to figure out my life. I may have taken a little bit more time than others, but what I can say is once I made the conscious choice to stop being complacent and start living my life, the world had opened up for me. I conquered my fear by re-enrolling in college. I put in an effort to show up. I paid attention in the classes. I threw away my pride about things by asking things I didn't know or understand. And you know what? I started getting better grades. Now, this wasn't an overnight transformation. My first semester back, I still got several Ds because I wasn't used to putting in an effort at school. Rather than getting discouraged, I persevered and by challenging myself to make better grades the following semesters. And as I continued to put in an effort throughout college, I began to see the fruits of my labor. I started really enjoying the aspect of learning in college. What? Enjoy learning and college? That sounds like an oxymoron, but it isn't. I thoroughly enjoyed my time at MCC. Master Yoda from our beloved Star Wars universe iconically said, "Do or do not. There is no try." So, if I can give one piece of advice to all of you right here and right now, that would be, do not stop chasing your dreams. Do by persevering in the face of adversity. Do by helping one another, and you will come to find happiness in your lives. To the Metropolitan Community graduates of 2020 and 2021, I want you all to persevere, not just in your immediate future, but in every aspect of your life. You all made it this far. Why not continue the rest of your lives? Congratulations.
Are you inspired? Thank you, Chance. At this time, I'd like to present you with a gift as a token of our appreciation. Let's give him another hand. Next, please join me in welcoming MCC Foundation Board Chair Matt Johnson and MCC Foundation Alumni Committee Chair Rafael Garcia, who are presenting a very special award.
Good evening. This year, the Metropolitan Community College Foundation is establishing the Distinguished Alumni Award. This prestigious award recognizes an alumnus who has brought honor to the college through professional achievements, leadership, and community impact. This is the highest award presented to an alumnus by the MCC Foundation.
This year's recipients, our inaugural recipient, is a 2002 graduate of the Metropolitan Community College, where he received an associate's in engineering degree. He continued on in his education, ultimately earning a doctorate in electrical and computer engineering from Missouri. He has had a tremendously successful 18 years in the industry, and his ingenuity has led to the submission of 2 handfuls of patents, 5 that are granted and 5 that are pending. Please direct your attention to the video screens for a brief profile of our proud honoree.
Hello, My name is Eric Timpson. I'm a principal electrical engineer and I work for Honeywell Federal Manufacturing and Technologies. I received an associate's in engineering from MCC Longview, then went on to the University of Missouri-Rolla, now known as Missouri Science and Technology, to earn a bachelor's in electrical and computer engineering, minors in math, physics, and biology. Graduated magna cum laude, so got some extra stuff at the commencement ceremony, and went on to study electrical and computer engineering, a PhD program at Mizzou. So a principal electrical engineer is kind of like a teacher. They're helping people. That's the simplest thing. You're assigning homework. So if we do this video right, I'll have assigned you at least 3 things to do for homework. If I looked at myself back in 2002, I would say, Eric, you don't have to be the best to be loved. I was really focused on being crazy and being the best and making an impact, helping people remember who I was, fame, if you will. But in the words of Leonard Skinner, it's really more about being a simple man. So Eric, take those words to heart. Do your best to read books. You're probably going to read one day about how to work, and it's going to teach you about self-compassion. You're probably going to read one day about how to thinking fast and slow. And it's going to teach you about System 1 and System 2 and using your whole brain. You're going to read a book about algorithms to live by. Make sure you do that. You'll read another one about atomic habits. So make some atomic habits because they will change your life. And so that's another piece of homework there is definitely read books. Second piece of homework is go look up some cool commencement YouTube speeches. There's 3 of them specifically that I really loved. There was a Navy Admiral who talked about making your bed, and that was really about celebrating accomplishment. There was Steve Jobs who talked about going to a calligraphy class. And so I did all those things, and I started to think, I was like, man, what should I say? And what I would tell them is the secret to happiness. So the secret to happiness actually comes out of one of the longest studies we've ever had. It's an 80-year study from Harvard, and it's that the secret to happiness is embracing community and close personal relationships. It is my grandparents who are watching this from heaven. It is my parents who are watching this probably live. It is my wife who's in the audience right now. God bless you, Angela. Again, thank you. It is Emery and Annabella, my gorgeous children. When you graduate from community college one day, I hope you'll watch this. And the best for last, again, is Bridget Gold. She saw me 19 years ago in this place today when I probably didn't. And if it wasn't for her and her nomination and keeping track of me over 19 years, then I wouldn't be here today to share the secret to happiness. It's not about money. It's not about fame. It's not about a fancy commencement ceremony. It's about your 3rd piece of homework, which is go home, hug your loved ones, tell them you love them. Tell them thank you for supporting me along this path. Whether it's 2 years for the associates, whether it's the 4 years for the bachelor's degree, whether it's 2 more years for the master's degree, or whether it's that pinnacle PhD where I was able to hug my wife and say, I couldn't have done it without you. That's the secret to happiness right there.
I think it's with zero question that the MCC Foundation is proud of the accomplishments of this year's honoree. But even more so, we're truly inspired by his heart.
Please join us in congratulating the 2021 recipient of the MCC Foundation Distinguished Alumni Award, Dr. Eric Timpson.
Thank you to the MCC Foundation, and congratulations again to Dr. Timpson. Every time I see that video, every time I listen to the story, I'm shaken and moved to the core, but extremely grateful and happy about what we do here at MCC. It is now my pleasure to introduce the keynote speaker. Joni Wickham served as only the second female chief of staff in history in the Kansas City, Missouri mayor's office. Obviously, Joni and Mayor Sly James had a connection because after 8 years in office, they started a business together. Joni hails from Raleigh, North Carolina. You see, I said Raleigh, not Raleigh. I know a little bit about that town. She hails from Raleigh, North Carolina. You may pick up a little Southern twang in her voice, and I love that she's an outspoken advocate for women's leadership and empowerment initiatives. She even wrote a book about empowering women. It's a great title that refers to terms sometimes used for women, but to keep this family friendly, I'll just say the book's title is The Thin Line Between Cupcake and Bleep. Bleep isn't the actual word, but the actual word does start with a B. Joni is a shero of mine, and I know our graduates will be inspired by her story. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Joni Wickham.
I love hearing that bleep. Thank you, Dr. Beatty. Thank you so much for that introduction. I've truly enjoyed watching your leadership journey since you took the helm of this amazing institution. You embody servant leadership at its finest, and I look forward to the continuation of your leadership journey in our community as well. And good evening to everyone here today and those of you watching online at home. I'm so honored to join you all, Dr. Beatty, the Metropolitan Community College Board, faculty, staff, and the classes of 2021 and 2020. It's so nice to be here with you all and your families to reflect on what you've accomplished and on where you're headed. Let's face it, the past year or so hasn't given us much to celebrate. I don't know about you, but I've often felt that when I turn on the evening news, I'm inundated with sadness, fear, uncertainty, and even anger. Just within the past year of taking your MCC journey, you've navigated a pandemic and wrestled with our country's racial injustices, on top of the day-to-day business of getting an education, and for some of you, working jobs and raising families all at the same time. That's a lot, but you did it. You had choices along the way. You could have decided it was all too much and you could have quit. You could have said, I'll get my degree later, now isn't the time. But you didn't. You pressed on. You made the right choice, and look where it got you. Life is full of choices, some fairly easy, and some really, really difficult. When faced with the choice to look at life through a lens of abundance or a lens of scarcity, always choose abundance. Someone with an abundance mindset sees the world as a place where more options and more fulfillment is possible because there are plenty of resources in the world for everyone. A scarcity mindset is one that believes if a person wins, then someone else has to lose. Having a scarcity mindset is an exhausting way to exist in the workforce and to go through life. Choose abundance. When faced with the choice to continue honing your craft or coast by on what you've already done or what you already know, keep learning. Continuous learning keeps us sharp, and it makes us better citizens of the world. Anything else is giving the world less than what you have to offer. When we tackle new skills and learn new ideas, we're investing in ourselves and in our ability to be effective, innovative leaders. Choose to keep learning. When faced with the choice to speak truth to power or stay silent, speak up. Graduates, you must recognize truth from fiction and be willing to stand up for what you believe in. Remember to meet people where they are in order to get them where you need them to be. Your MCC journey has given you skills to analyze a situation, to develop a solution, and my favorite, to act. Don't stay silent when you see injustice. Choose to speak up. Thank you. When faced with adversity and given the choice to fall apart or to march forward, keep marching. And you know what? You've already shown yourself, Dr. Beatty, your instructors, your families, your friends, and me, that you can keep marching because you marched in here this evening to get your diploma when so many times, I'm sure, it would have been easier to fall apart. Like that time when everyone started using the word quarantine and no one quite understood what we were in for. You had to learn all those virtual platforms and adapt to life with very little in-person interaction. And how about that time when you had 3 tests in 1 week, or you walked into a lab for the first time at the age of 50, or you had to learn a foreign language right along with your kids at the kitchen table? Choose to continue marching. And if you're ever underestimated because of who you are or who you're not, then you'll be presented with a choice to prove them wrong or to prove them right. Prove them wrong. I grew up in a single-wide trailer that's nestled in the middle of an old tobacco field outside of Raleigh, North Carolina, with my mom, who had me when she was 15 years old, and my grandparents, who to this day cannot read or write. I've often felt like I didn't belong in many settings, whether it be the halls of the U.S. Capitol, the state capitol, or even this very stage with you all here tonight, all because of where I came from. And many times, the people around me treated me as if I didn't belong. But I've had to learn to double down on hard work and resolve to prove to them and to myself that where I came from isn't indicative of how far I can go. Choose to prove your detractors wrong. The choices we make reflect our outlook on life, the degree to which we're confident in our own skin and our dreams. I challenge each one of you to consistently and wholeheartedly choose abundance, choose to keep learning, choose to speak up, choose to continue marching forward, and choose to prove others wrong who don't see your full potential. My hope for you is that wherever life takes you, the destination is greater than your imagination. I hope that you realize the power every one of you has to change this world, even if that change feels incremental in the moment. And you realize that you possess everything it takes to accomplish every last one of your dreams. And finally, I hope you know that life is not always about being perfect, right, Chance? Instead, it's about being perfectly willing to challenge yourself and the choices the world brings you. In a world where more buckets are filled with tension, lack of understanding, confusion, hate, and violence, I hope you choose to fill your bucket to the top with kindness, love, compassion, and the choice to seek the greater good. I can tell you from experience that life has a funny way of returning back to you the good deeds that you bestow on others. It's in that spirit that I've been able to join you all here tonight for this really joyous graduation ceremony. Thank you for your attention this evening, and best wishes to the graduating classes of 2020 and 2021.
Woo! I don't know about you, but I am so inspired. Thank you, Joni. She was great, wasn't she? Joni, we appreciate you sharing your message, and we want to give you this gift. Next, we will hear from our campus presidents.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Larry Rideau. I'm the president of MCC Maple Woods. And to my left is Dr. Tyon Lee, president of MCC Penn Valley. Let's give it up for Dr. Lee. And joining me at the other podium are Dr. Thomas Meyer, president of MCC Blue River and MCC Business and Technology. And last but not least, Dr. Dan Hakoy. He is the president of MCC Longview. I speak on behalf of the four of us when I say we are incredibly proud of the classes of 2021 and 2020. Tonight is about you, our graduates. It is a time to savor. It is a time to celebrate. And with tremendous pride and all sincerity, we say congratulations. More than any other graduates in recent memory, you all have had to endure. In that spirit, the other presidents and I wanted to share a poem that has been meaningful to us as leaders over the past 14 months. We hope you too will find it inspiring as you reflect on the hard work that brought you to this moment and look forward to the next leg of your journey. Dr. Meyer.
Thank you, Dr. Rideau. The poem we have chosen is entitled Don't Quit by M. Tarun Prasad. When times are hard, you might stop for a bit, but it's not over until the moment you quit. On a river's bridge, failures are the planks. Take one step at a time until you reach its banks. Don't give up on your dreams. Chase them instead.
You will find one morning as you wake up from bed that you are the person about whom you dreamed, and you can reach great heights, impossible though it seemed. When things go wrong and your back is to the wall, try to stand up, no more can you fall. Life is full of ups and downs. Take them in stride. You will discover your little star is hidden inside.
Graduates, we know there are great things ahead for you, and we are certain you will go forth and change the world for the better, because we are the fortunate observers who have already watched you do exactly that right here at MCC. Congratulations again.
Thank you, campus presidents. Before we go on, I want to pause for a moment. This is a year that we have transitioned. We moved to a different venue. Isn't this venue, we've already said how great it is, but it takes so much to plan an event like this. So I want to just take a moment to pause to thank all of the people who coordinated this event. A special shout out to Chris Shobe and Dr. Catherine Swanson for their leadership of all of these ceremonies. Would you give all who are involved, our media teams, our photographers, all that came out tonight, let's give them a quick hand. And now we're just about at the reason we're all here tonight, to honor the Metropolitan Community College class of 2021 and 2020. But before we bring the candidates forward, I'd like to acknowledge just a few more students who have distinguished themselves during their time here at MCC. As I call each group's name, please stand and remain standing and hold your applause until the end. We've got members of Phi Theta Kappa, the International Academic Honor Society for two-year colleges. Please stand if you're a member of that. Participants in the campus honors programs at Longview and Maplewoods campuses, please stand. Those who have earned leadership cords, please stand. And everyone, please join me in recognizing all these stellar students for their leadership. You may be seated. Also among tonight's graduates are students who take part in our early college academies on our campuses. MCC partners with several school districts through dual enrollment programs. Students can earn a certificate or, in many cases, their MCC associate degree at the same time in earning their high school diploma. We've got 98 students who have completed one of our academy programs. We've got several career and technical programs, the Construction Academy. We've got the City Tech Academy. We've got the Lee Summit R7 Innovation Track Program. We've got the Missouri Innovation Campus, North Kansas City School Early Academy, the Guadalupe Center Early Academy, and the Kansas City Public School Early College Academy. Would these students in the early college academies please stand? I'd like to recognize you. Those students who are here participating, please stand. You may be seated. It's something to push forward as a high school student and get your college credential. I'd now like to introduce Ms. Suzanne Gotches, our Vice Chancellor of Instruction and Chief Academic Officer.
Good evening. Before the graduates cross the stage, we'd like to recognize groups of students by their degree or certificate. Those candidates for the Associate in Arts degree, will you please stand? Let's give them a hand. You may be seated. Those candidates for an Associate of Arts degree in Teaching degree, please stand. Thank you. Those candidates for the Associate in Applied Science degree, would you please stand? Congratulations. And those candidates for the Associate in Computer Science degree, would you please stand? Candidates for the Associate in Engineering degree, would you please stand? Candidates for the Associate in Science degree, would you please stand? And finally, candidates for certificates, would you please stand? Thank you. Chancellor Beatty, I have the honor of presenting to you for the conferring of degrees and certificates the students of Metropolitan Community College graduating classes of 2020 and 2021. They have diligently persisted in the pursuit of learning, which we recognize this evening, and the college faculty join me in recommending them to you.
Thank you, Ms. Gotches. Now, if the candidates for graduation could please stand once again. Platform Party and faculty members, would you please stand? By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the statutes of the state of Missouri and the policies of the Board of the Trustees for Metropolitan Community College, I hereby confer upon each of you the appropriate degrees for certification with all attendant rights and privileges. Congratulations. Now, everyone except for the first row of graduates may be seated. Now, I know this will be hard. I know this will be hard. Y'all know where I'm going. But as we recognize tonight's graduates on an individual basis, we'd ask that you have respect for everyone. I'm not going to ask you to hold your applause, but just, do it in a way that doesn't squash the next person's name being called. Let me put it that way. I'm going to have realistic expectations. All right? Okay, students, you will cross the stage from this side, and I'm sorry we won't be able to shake hands, but please pause for a moment for a photo with me and one of our trustees while you're on the stage, and then we ask that you return to your seat. You're going to exit down the stairs, and we will ask you to stay in your seats until all of the graduates have been recognized. Please do not leave the theater until all the graduates have been recognized. The fun part comes at the end when you'll be able to move your tassel from the right to the left. And if you want to, you can toss your cap in the air and shake like you just don't care. So now, let's meet the stars for tonight's ceremony, the graduates.
Leroy Brown IV.
Emma Mary Vaughn. Sarah J. Eskew. Kimberly Beam. Christina Ann LeClaire.
Michelle Hancock Forgays.
Tika R. Rye. Lauren Marie Mabin.
Boyd Keith Cole.
Connor Young. Lori Jean Dixon. Whitney Rose Quarles. Haley M. Roten. Marky Elizabeth LePerry. Sierra Reichert. Taylor Renee Wilson.
Kivita Bott Sampson.
John Keeney. Stephanie Renee Briggs. Denise Cabrera Solorio. Teresa Ann Harris. Brianna Marie Donnelly. Jessica Baxter Young.
Khadijah Alexander. Lindsay Mitchell. Tu Nak Nu Nguyen. Luke Romaine.
Ani Abbas Sharif Shobal. Haley Kaylin Hope Falk. Lacey Jean Turner. Christopher Mark Birch. Marissa Lynn Soliday. Dee Dee Michelle Novak. Zainab Q. Al-Basri. Haley Lynette Jenkins.
Dominique Alexis Yendrick.
Sarah Angela Norena.
Michael Javar Green.
Karen C. Lewis. Shamika Terrell Norfleet.
Ronnie Slane McHenry.
Lakesia Monique Coleman Wilson. Bianca Abigail Bautista.
Emily Hughes.
Clayton Dylan Weber. Adam Christopher Wiedner.
Amber Lee.
Asma Abdullah. Barsendi Salau. Halima Dusenge. Na Nguyen.
Tina Marie McInnes.
Nina Berry. Haley Zombo.
Chance Walker.
Meredith Reese. Alicia Loy. Alexander Beatty.
Lori Winslow. Zubai.
Madison Kremer. Hannah Collier.
Tanya Ann Davis.
Kelly M. Farrell.
Alyssa Keeney.
Michelle Marie Bastian.
Albert J. Padilla.
Nathan Williamson.
April Vandruff.
Laura Elisa Johnson. Andrea May Carlais Eggers.
Logan Cooper. Emily Bradley.
Elizabeth K. Farabee.
Tyler Stoddard.
Myra Lynette Stewart Barbie. Deshawn LaMonica Clemoens.
Juventud Esteban Luna.
Samuel Sisk.
Elizabeth Louise Favor.
Tamia Mitz.
Natasha Lee Moore.
Sophia Logan.
Wesson M. Robinson.
Brandy Cherie Ashurst. Lauren Elizabeth Alden. Natalie M. Stewart.
Desi Polk.
Terale Rebecca Fuimaono.
Blonid Quiva Choice.
Jennifer Lee Reynolds.
Sophia Goucher.
Jessica Hawes. Dara Rochelle McCall. Nancy E. Velder. Crystal Bambi Nicole Young.
Christy Jazowski.
Victoria A. Hinkle. Jennifer Leah Catanzaro. Jacob Ivan Messendijk.
Aurora Medrano. Kaylin Clancy.
Samantha Faye Peacock.
Sam Petrali. Andy Reyes. Teresa Smith.
Rachel K. Montevi.
Brianne Druin. Allison Russell.
Chioma Chukwu Onua.
Jessica Ann Lowe. Liza Yunue Gallegos. Xingyan Chen. Selena Chun. Felicia Ann Jones. Veronica Cuellar.
Anya Eremenko.
Aubrey R. Arnon.
Ravion Taylor. Coda Maskill.
Christina Lee McInnes.
Trent Estes.
Megan Nicole Woods.
Leslie Vanessa Pardo Gutierrez.
Chastity T. Powell. Angelique Dolores White.
Toy Boyd. Burgundy Farr. Harshpreet Kandola.
Derek L. Arrington Jr. Caitlin Nicole Eccles Showman. Catherine Grace Hunter. Carla Alejandra Hernandez. Julian Renee Lowry.
Christina Hall.
Anna Marie Cush. Alejandro Solorzano. Sadie Grace Abbott. Brandy Renee Kroger. Sarah Grace Unrein.
Charlie Mulkey. Kelsey Hodges.
Rochelle S. Ross. Deng A. Deng. Sarah Adaya Love.
Danetta Milton. Sydney Sherles. Tori Van Ham.
Brooke Siobhan Niermeyer. Nathan Sharfie. Jasmine Brianna Knight.
Bailey Hicks.
Jonathan Adam Stewart. Laura Payne.
Ashley Nicole Craddock. Gwendolyn Joy Mott. Abigail Cook Saunders.
Alina Michelle Terrio. Raviana Biggins.
Jamie Nicole Fitzgerald.
Noah Kohler. Caitlin Cook.
Sarah Denise Clark.
Joshua Keith Molman.
Grace Christina Doncher.
Elisha Marie Race.
Daniel Austin Taylor.
Giovanni Rodriguez Marquez. Cudi Soto.
Crystal Lynn Anderson.
Robert Stepp.
Jessica Carney. Chloe Marie Kern. Daly Marie Teagarden.
Cynthia E. Thompson.
Julie Rankin.
John Dillard.
Carly Graff. Atasha Brewer. Liz Budemeyer. Vanessa Hill.
Jackson T. Sanders.
Katie Lukowski.
Mason Michelle Burnsides.
Carrie Ellis.
Sunny Rose Allen.
Savannah Smith DeMeyer. Kenzie Lee Milborn.
Sorry. I'm back. Here we go.
Joselina Berg.
Haika Hamed.
Brandon Frick.
Melissa Brooke Johnson.
Kirsten R. Rames.
Olivia Augustine.
Bailey Kenzel.
Kelsey Johnson. Margie Smith.
Taffy Beechner.
Caitlin Wuthno. Joanna Renee Fulston. Lauren T. McMillan.
You do a dance across the stage? I'm just playing. Don't get me in trouble.
Hayden Joseph Davies.
Nathaniel Will Ken Hampton.
Taya Bodie.
Erskine Turner Jr.
Hayla Lawa.
Congratulations. Is it Raw? He said Raw Dean.
Raul Deng.
Congratulations. Is it Shukri?
Shukri Ali Mohammed.
Yanela Sheets. Gina Delrose Milligan. Mirelis Padilla.
Dekaria Eliza Bascom.
Ravel Wright.
Jamie Lynn Cox.
Kevin Membrano. Christina Black. Braden Wenta. Zoe Burns.
Aaron Spencer Blunt. Daphne Aromi Salas.
Rebecca Hollis. Courtney Albertson.
Catherine Elizabeth Lee. Marcane Willis White.
Ariana Angel Barnes. Jonathan Isaac Gano.
Madison Nicole Robinson.
Da DeCon.
Kristen Danielle Sybil. Erica Dawn Miller. Yolanda M. Webster.
Shelby D. Grubb.
Catherine Sarah Damron. Kenzie Lauren Williams. Miller Charles Reed Russell.
Summer D. Flanagan. Ariane Ray Olson. Victoria Alexis Walters.
Tiffany R. Price. Sandra Matea Martina Aviles. Frankie Joe Begulia.
Brenda Brown. Joseph Herrera.
Mandy Arlene Ivy.
Michael Colley Gillespie. Jocelyn Manny Stone. Latrell Devontae Lewis.
Joshua Christopher Thomas Bryson.
Kathleen Dolores Metcalf.
Tiffany Ward.
Shaughnessy Lorraine Stone. Mondora Mickles Nash.
Andrea Bang.
Haley Ann Watts.
Jennifer Lee Woodard. Zan Overton.
Gannon L. Ross.
Jadalyn Renee Crozier.
Mark Hill II.
Maria Alexandra de los Santos.
Ivana Monique Stacy. Kesia Angel Reichel. Annie Ray Case. Antoinette L. Ajami. Ashley Nicole Jordan. Carson Harvey.
Kelly C. LeGrant.
LaShonda Renee Richardson.
Brooke Peterman. Michelle Mars. Bobby West.
Monica Marie Magana.
Bayan Abuan.
Venetia Masters Wilson.
Dominic Mgobo.
Lauren N. Amon.
Albertine Gifek Epsi Safek.
Michelle Kamturinzi. Jake Robert Famuliger.
Erin Lynn Corbett Devers.
Juan Walker.
Keira Marie Tatum.
Yanesi Cruz.
Corey Ray Myers.
Marissa Jolene Foster.
Noah Scott Baker.
Maju Hanaoka.
Audrey Safak Nanfak.
Suzanne Alice Manu. Megan Renee Benson.
Bailey L. Brown.
Halima Malin. Donovan Gee.
Jasmine Celeste Collier.
Jackson Miner.
Giselle Yesenia Vega.
Michelle Jimenez Cervera. AJ Cox. Dominique Berry.
Gina Elaine Conrad. Oshale Shantae Turner.
Govana Meneses. Colin Sumler. Tania Edmond.
Tamarion Omari Loans.
Alexandra Maria Patak.
Mona L. Eisenhower. Alana Marie Duncan.
Ethan Baldwin.
James Scott Baldwin. Talisha Smith.
Courtney Page Karen.
Troyana Danielle Robinson. Joanne Peterson. Jamie Nicole Pitts. Carson McKay Eschenroder.
Carla Gutierrez.
Michelle Lee Gatlin.
Tequila Sims. Ashley Park.
Enrique Garcias Cortez.
Haley Menlimos.
Anna Lorraine Howie.
Vince Smith. Molly King.
Victoria Lucia Gonzalez.
George Harvey. Mohani Cheek. Laretha Ford.
Brittany Catherine Bernard Humble.
Lalia Makedem El Kashawi. Raisa Dodgem.
Annie Tran. Katie Vasquez.
Jonathan Martinez.
Valerie Jane Chandler.
Amy Shavaran.
Tony Joe Kelzer.
Nick Anello.
Brittany K. Shrout. Laura K. Dedrick.
Jessica Michelle Surinshoni. Mayade Yazdani. Kayla Amber Johnson. Sierra Michelle McMurray.
Angel Manning.
Leo Christian Nash. Jerry M. Hibbs.
Noah Warner.
Leland Rihanna Renee Smith.
Austin Robert Smith.
Nicholas Dean Shriver.
Daniel Shriver. Kelly Milton.
Mary Elizabeth Scarf. Sloan Ashton Winnikine.
Stephanie Ish.
Jolie Bell Sendelbach.
Erin Nicole Wanbaugh.
Aya Mahmoud Habashi.
Esra Hassan. Nadine Mohammed.
Peter E. Scott.
Ebony Carney.
Jakia Lene Jackson.
Alex Herndon. Kimberly McIntyre Clark.
Olivia Marie Myers. Mark Anthony Hobson Jr.
Sarah Michelle Hunt.
Kimberly Reisig. Holly Deanna.
Suzanne S. Misassi.
Rachel Catherine Wolf.
Mitchell Ramsey. Allie Burnett. Taylor Miller.
Jaron McCallop.
Rania Lou Margaret Sikeko.
Callan Renee Bless.
Dayton Philip Shireman. Megan Catherine Burhoff.
Iklas Adam. Marquise Roby Jr. Caleb Flores.
Janina Radillo. Lanira Radillo.
Valencia Griswold. Martin Bosquez.
Martha Irene Delatorre.
Kayla Saunders.
Aixa Marie Rosa.
Aaliyah Mosby.
Lauren D. Lee.
Sophia Shaw.
Isabella Angelia Sterling. Priscilla T. Cow.
Amanda Kepopine.
Joshua D. Martin.
Hussein Sakoki. Jamila Smith.
Precious Cherise Wilson. Michaela Janae Dickerson.
Abigail Ismare Moreno.
Angie Rudiaga.
Earl Misha K. Clark.
Nicole Akers. Violet Levitt.
She just wants you to say Jasmine Julu. It's okay.
Jasmine Julu.
Samantha Nicole Wickman. Kirsten Lynn Huber. Elena K. Quiroz. Abigail Rose McNevin. Lakeisha Monique Winfield.
Daniel Barks. Jamie Simpson.
Chloe Ann Newton. Thekla C. Okwara.
Cheyenne Rose Harlan.
Katie Cook.
Jessica Eichholz. Emily Marie Stansel.
Carla Michelle Brake.
Billy Sue Nelson. Megan Maracle.
Ramses Hernandez.
Amanda Keeley.
Jessica Aaron Layden.
Mary LaBeth Foster.
Olivia DeWitt Blam.
Oh, you don't want, you just want what? Shaquille, she just wants Shaquille Shanklin.
Shaquille Shanklin.
You can go forward. Congratulations.
Winelli Quezada.
Sierra Elizabeth Willingham.
Sierra Elizabeth Willingham.
Christy Ashleen Shipley.
Maria Mancy.
Caitlin Rayleigh Olivia Nichols.
Gracie Davies. Jennifer Lee.
Amanda Snow.
Madeline Ebert. Stephen McAfee. Felicia Gordon.
Antonio De Leon. Keisha J. Stevenson. Robert Eugene Gillis, Jr. Erica Johnson Todd.
Amber Mosley.
Emma Marie Craven. Alondra Alejandra Gonzalez. Madeline I. Marquez.
Gloria Letitia Thomas. Maria Savine.
Alaya Shakira Henderson. Lily Grace Kruger.
Gracie Dawn Kindle.
Montana Nicole Heaps.
Kathy Doe.
Christina Marie Atchison. Sadie Rose Lemunia. Kevin Alex. Alexandra Gonzalez Ortega.
Nicole Portillo.
Holly N. Robinson.
Jamila Kelly.
Lyric Nicole Washington Gaw.
Chantel Belgrave. Abdirahman Ahmed. Dua Ahmad. Ray Sharaf.
Huda Muhammad Ben Yusuf. Portia Q. Thomas.
Diana Lugo.
Nora Ying Marchbank Cabera.
Cameron Cadenhead.
Nicole Lemore.
Angela Diane Bennett.
Brian Eek Mubah. Clinton Robert Lewis Morris III.
Kaylee Adams.
Felicia Adriana Irvin.
Emily Elizabeth Schieferdecker. Latrice M. McGee.
Erica Gillespie. Marco Zarate. Raydonna Cunningham. Delia Whitaker.
Kamaya Nate Sims. Jonathan Allen Enlow.
Jennifer Nicole Vineyard.
Kelvin T. Din.
Marianne Assad.
Anab Omer. Christina Freeman. Octavius Woolridge.
Emily Jean Martins. Clayton Richard Coldwell.
Joey Dixon. Dana Weir. Jordan Rush.
Megan Elizabeth Mapes.
Angel Clark.
Lisa Marie Culpa.
Dave Love. Jessica McDonald.
Crochet A. Anderson. Shanice LaSheila Williams. Erica Lynn Long. Christina Limon Chantal.
Sandra Feldman.
Rosalind Christine Jackson.
Ethan Dale Holman.
Jordan Engel.
Alex Faye Isom.
Sydney Lee.
Lisa M. Saunders.
Kelly Hudgens. Michelle Guzman. Brandon Kuda. Cecilia Brown.
Sarah Elizabeth Kimsey. Nancy Chadira Valenzuela.
Nicholas James Matter.
Jesus Ramirez. Anthony Muniz. Angel Muniz Ortiz. Francie Armato.
Imani Hunter High. Tatum Elise Vanderver.
Rahab Isa.
Samantha M. Geringer.
Kenya P. Vertiz Lopez.
Billy Blurton. Alex Munsterman.
Jacob Christopher Harriman.
It's all right.
Asha Mohammed.
Jennifer Marita.
Onse Nicholas Brown.
Cameron Drake Deathridge. Flynn Thomas Von Fintel.
Gustavo Pineda.
Gustavo Pineda.
Some of the delays are
Celine Ogle. Abby Erickson. Kiera Agee. Susie Hedrick. Maria Mendez Renteria. William White.
Jenny Lee Pittman.
Elizabeth Lynn Rugg.
Maddie Main.
Alexandra Leon Chiang Roberts. Giovanna Ruiz.
Christian Thomas. Sarah Harris. Vanessa Pearl.
Laventha M. Ebling.
Candy Michael McReynolds.
Rebecca T. Flynn. William Frederick Headley. Mindy Diane Bradshaw.
Alicia Jeanette Harris.
Jackson George Mansell.
Raya Gentry.
Stephen Anthony Aquino Jr.
Sarah Elizabeth Wilk.
Brandy Jade Bergstresser. Taikisha Lachey Todd.
Katie Myers. Glenacia Pouncil.
Brenda K. Davis.
Alyssa Lewis. Addison Palmer. Tara Douglas.
Ahmed Salah Hassan.
Johann Stephen Westergaard. Destiny Monet Washington. Alyssa Renee Scott.
Abigail Walker. Elizabeth Greer.
Autumn Rose Sparks. Adora Crystalie Mullendore.
David Michael Franken Jr.
Jacqueline Jean Marie Anderson.
Brianna Pendergraph.
Christine Lynn King.
Kylie Burks. Emily Tang.
Kara Renee Miller.
Mandy Mae Griffin. Abigail Brown.
Ashley Michaela Myers.
Rachel Young.
Nicole E. Stoneburner.
Andrew Schrader.
Angel Lee Booth.
Samantha C. Ashley.
Siona Marie Johnson.
Tanaja Marie Starr. Imena Davila Vasquez.
Shauna Jackson. Cheyenne Ray Phillips.
Agnes Wagashi Jones.
Mariam Ahmed Said. Khadija Noor Munye.
Oshin Lachey Jones.
David P. White. Linda Marie Mulliken.
Destiny Nicole Rexwinkle.
Kara Carey. Omema Widatala.
Tara Michelle Ruring.
Nor Altoka Karagul. Daisha Heinzman.
Tootie O. Simpson Boyle. Jania Marshall Henderson. Kylie Ann DeCourcy. Diamond Darcel Jones.
Parker Johnson. Adra Sanchez.
Kimberly Jensen Wand. Christina Lynn Novak.
Aunsi Ahmad Al-Zaidi.
Stacy Lynn Herring. Jerry Ronaldo Lewis. Sophia Page Downing.
Denise Griffin.
Jacob Anthony Pope.
Jude Habashi.
Aisha Hassan Abdi. Tamika LaShawn Maxwell. Jennifer Lynn Smith. Angela Joy Myson.
Greg Hull.
Shelby Dawn Stobart.
Angelica Esmeralda Alfaro.
John Patterson. Emily Collins.
Tynesha Danielle Townsend Moore. Ariani Osler. Claire Louise Lester.
Hannah Marie
Hannah
Hendershot.
Marie Hendershot.
Denovis Brooks Kirby.
There you go. Congratulations. You can go forward.
Leslie Beret.
You can go forward.
Angelina M. Ortiz.
You can go forward.
Jennifer R. Rice.
You can go forward.
Reese Middleton.
You can go forward.
Kenesha Michelle Robinson.
You can go forward. Congratulations.
Amy N. Pentimone.
You can go forward.
Valentine Chiola Panga.
Sarah Bolware. Laura Quiros.
Raul Quiros.
Jalen Walker Couch.
Vanetta Marie Washington. Michaela Chanel Clark.
Rikishia Simmons.
You can go forward.
Debbie Fink. Brandy Hudson.
Go ahead, girl. You can go forward.
Talitha McFadden.
You know I'm
Anna Lopez. Addison Simpkins. Crystal Minjares.
Bailey P. Mendez.
Ethan Ford. Joshua Bassett.
Conlon Taylor Rush. Jasmine Spalding. Nivri IVL Colbert.
Chunda Hampton.
Lucio Gabriel Perez. Michaela Anna Marie Hendren.
Me and my son together. Same degree, me and my son. I want to be together.
All right, I'll get you back to back here. Here you go.
Aman Juha.
And you can go right out there.
Obeida Shema. Carlos Para Cervantes.
Leilani Arali Gonzalez. Adriana Judith Reyes.
Maria Raquel Piedra. Gabriela Suazo.
Litzy Flores.
Pamela Jean Torres.
Elizabeth Barty. Kelsey Kincaid.
Tara Danielle Martin. Joaquin Correa. Kauser Asat Warsame.
Amy Hembry. Elia Moremi.
Marlena Louise Williams. Alex Nazary.
Kevin McAfoose.
Mary E. Morgan.
Yasmin Ahmad Faiz.
Congratulations. That's it.
Tierney Little.
All right, graduates, are you ready? Please stand. You may now move your tassels from the right to the left as a symbol of having earned your academic degree. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 2021 and 2020 graduating classes of Metropolitan Community College. You may be seated. Graduates, congratulations on your achievement. We are excited to welcome you into the ranks of Metropolitan Community College alumni. No matter which path you take from here, we know you will make us MCC proud. You'll be receiving information from the MCC Foundation. Whether you started your higher education here, many people told me they came back to get a different credential. Remember your journey here at Metropolitan Community College. Our recessional will now commence. We ask that the audience, please, 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 remain seated or near your seats until the usher releases your row. Also, as you gather after the ceremony to celebrate your graduate, please be considerate of others around you to continue to wear your face mask. Good night, everyone, and thank you for being with us this evening. Will the platform party, faculty, and graduates please rise?